Today, we're going to be looking at a card game that tells the Bible stories through emojis. Up next. What is up, everyone? This is Everything Board Games, and I am your host for today, Paul, otherwise known as the Techno Funk Boy. So, if you've been with the channel for a while, you have probably seen some of our other reviews on games from Bible Games Central. I've had the pleasure of being able to play and review several of these, and had the opportunity over the last month or so to be able to play a couple more with the family, and so going to be talking about the first of those here, and then in my next video we're going to tackle the other ones. And be sure and stay tuned, because at the end of all of these, I'm going to kind of compare all of the games that we've reviewed so far, and if it might help give you a little bit of direction if there's something in particular you are looking for. Today, though, we're doing the Emoji Bible Stories card game. In the effort of full disclosure, Bible Game Central did provide me a copy of this game for the purposes of this review. Now, if you haven't picked up on the target audience yet, obviously this is directed toward Christians, but more specifically for Christian families. This is intended for ages 6 and up, for what was it, 2 to 6 players? Wanted to make sure that was right. For 15 minutes. Now, that is actually a little deceptive, and I don't mean in the actively the wrong way of being deceptive. There's actually several different games that you can do with this set. The main set is a series of these emoji cards, but what we're going to do with these is going to differ based on the type of game that we are playing. So I want to kind of go through those quickly, and as we go to kind of assess my level of success with each one. Now the first one is using the cards to tell the story. So you get these prompts, and then you are going to trying to find these cards, to try to find emojis that is going to help you tell these stories. Now, this one I thought was pretty fun. The prompts given are really kind of all the stories that you learned first from the Bible. And so most kids, if you've been going to Sunday school for a while, or like in my family, if you tell these stories, during evening worship or something like that, most of the time you're going to know, the kids are going to know these, and this works out really, really nicely. And so then it's more of a hunt to find cards that are going to be able to tell this story. Now, part of the problem with this game is the judges are the other players, and if it's a particularly fierce round, then of course everybody's like, nah, I don't see it. I don't think that's a very good description of what's going on right there. And so I actually found more success doing it kind of as a non-competitive competition, if that makes sense, where we're not really keeping score. It's just encouraging each other to be able to find these. The next one uses these same cards, but this time we're actually going to guess the Bible story. And so if you do guess it, then you get the point as well. So it's kind of the similar thing, except now these cards are turned over. And so instead of me showing you, hey, Jesus changed the water into wine, here are a few emojis that describe that. I'm just showing you the emojis. This is going to require a bit more concrete knowledge of the stories that for the kids, and as well as a little bit of deciphering. But all in all, I had kind of fun with this one. The next one, this one was rough. So this one is where you take the purple cards here, and it actually gives you the prompt and the cards that you're supposed to be matching for your story. And so as these cards are played, you're gathering them, and then whoever can match them. All in all, as a prompt, not bad. The difficulty is these stories are a little bit more abstract, and I was struggling with a lot of these. For example, like so God tests Abraham. You know, you got dad there, you got the kid there, you're walking. Oh, look, there's a knife. Oh, good. Oh, good. There's a little lamb, and now there's fire. All right. That one I could probably get. The conversion of Saul, like, I'm sitting here, like, I see the prompt and I'm bewildered by this. And so there is so much, there's so much that really kind of depends on what you actually draw, you know? So Samson and Delilah is a pretty good example of this. You know, if I get this card and I get the, you know, the muscle arm, I think that's like, if anybody sees that, like, oh, that's part of my story. I know you can fit that into other stories, but come on, that's like the first thing that's popping into your head, right? Whereas, and so there's the point of that is there's so much that depends on the draw on this one that I didn't think it was as worthwhile. The last game on here, and this is just nearly taking the stories completely out of it, except as you as the parent, how much you're going to use it to teach, is to take these cards and then start drawing these, and then when you have a match, which I didn't. Oh, is that one? Yeah. All right. So when you have a match, then it kind of becomes a variation of Snap, where, you know, the first person is like, oh, yeah. We got the chains. Wins that card. And so there is really easy approach on that one. So I think that, like, as far as a didactic tool, this one has a lot of potential. And I'm going to show you something in just a second that actually amplifies that and turns this set into something that you can use in your own, you know, family worship, which is actually my favorite part of this. You know, and like, I hate saying that because this is everything board games, and we're supposed to be talking about games here, and this is not the game at all. But they have these kind of great cards here that actually tells the story. And so it summarizes the story here, and I'm sorry, wrong side. Summarizes the story here, tells you where it is, tells you the emojis that you can use to tell this story. So, like, I grab them out and show them, and then gives you kind of a lesson on the back. I kind of love that. I kind of love this part of the set right here. And, you know, the bonus of that is the more you use that, the more you tell these stories, the more the kids are actually getting connected with this particular game. And so I think long term, and I think, you know, from from a teaching standpoint, this is pretty solid. As far as a fun game goes, these games have different levels of success. I think that I think that there's a lot of potential just with this set, that and especially using, and I'm moving my stacks around, especially using these simpler cards, particularly with the young kids, especially as you're teaching these stories as you go through. Using these to try to build out the story, I think that's a lot of fun. I think like these sets where you're trying to grab things that match and build it and have other people guess what it is. I think as the kids grow older, and especially if we continue using these sets to tell these stories, then I think there's a lot of potential there. I remember as a kid that, and I don't know, like I mean, sure, my parents got this at some Christian bookstore or something, but there was like a set of images that taught the chronology of the arrest and death and resurrection of Christ, and and the point of it was to teach all the aspects using these kind of funny pictures. This, by the way, I love that. I loved it as a kid, and using an afternoon, we kind of memorized all the different aspects, including all the names of the people. That's what this is. It's like except more in game form, with some options on how to play the games. And so I see a lot of potential here with this particular set. And I'm looking forward to using that more. So we're going to go through the Bible Game Central games that we've reviewed so far, and kind of what their target is, and what you can use them for. This one, the best potential is in teaching, and it is gamified that in several different ways that I think is very useful. Bible Animals, Click Clack Match. Super fun, super high energy, very short game that isn't going to teach any lessons whatsoever to your kids. My kids had fun. It's very, very high energy. This is really, really good when you got a few minutes before dinner and you want to burn off a little energy. Rolling of the dice is always really, really fun. Parable Parade. Very good on the didactic front. Very, very good way to teach the parables, and to remember the parables as you're basically collecting a set of cards that retell the story. It is essentially kind of a matching game, or collect the set type of a game, but it's so easy to push that into a lesson about what the parables actually are. Good Shepherd remains my family's favorite. There's not much here that you can springboard off of to use for teaching. Once you've gotten past the parable of the lost sheep, and talking about Christ being the good shepherd and all, once you've gotten past that and you've kind of repeated it ad nauseum, this remains just a really fun game. And my family continues to play this at least a few times a week at their request. because they really, really, really enjoy it. So thank you so much for tuning in. Everythingboardgames.com is your place for more board game reviews. If you are on YouTube and you have not subscribed yet, please do so. Hit that bell icon, and in that way you will be notified of upcoming videos. I am going to be actually recording the next video here tomorrow for the next in this series from Bible Game Central, and so I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing you back here. I appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time. Take care.